Chapter 11. He who follows the way of Paticcasamuppada follows the way of the blind. Ignorance of the Four Noble Truths is avidya, and he whose vision is clouded with avidya is called in Pali Puttujana, ordinary, untaught worldling. There are two kinds of worldling, Andha and Kalayana. He who is ignorant of Satya is called Andha Puttujana, or blind Puttujana. Who is blind is always restless and wants to wander hither and thither. The blind Puttujana, being ignorant of Satya and in the dark and having no eyesight, there is a pitfall inevitable for him. With a view to attain higher position and becoming a Deva or Brahma in his next existence, he does Punabhi Sankara. This may be called walking with the right leg. Again, being overwhelmed by the desire to become rich quickly, he perpetrates all sorts of apunabhi sankara, immoral deeds, for his own interest or for his family. This may be said that he walks with the left leg. He has done these sankaras because of avidya, ignorance of satya. Such deeds done by him are linked to the walking of a blind man. Being blind is avidya. Being ignorant of satya and doing of akusala sankara is walking with the left and right leg. If one gives alms knowing full well that panchakanda is dukkha satya and is so despicable, detestable and full of suffering and undesirable, then it can be said this is the right way of giving alms, because it is done with the knowledge of satya, and khandas is nothing but dukkha satya. This kind of vivata kusala which does not mix white with black. When alms giving is done without expectation or without any wishful hope for better position in the next existence, it is done with the expressed desire for the cessation of the samsaric force, or in other words, for the non-attainment of any kind of khanda in the next existence. It is vivata kusala kama which can shatter away kamic force. At this point one may raise a question, whereas the samsara is so long and before attaining nibbana one may happen to fall into pure or needy existence. Hence it will not be desirable to wish and long for prosperity and happiness in the higher plane of Devaloka as Prince Deva or King of Universe, etc. in the next existence. Good deeds always bear fruits. It means to say that notwithstanding dana and sila are done without any attendant longing, desire or wishing for better position and prosperity in the next following existence. The good deeds, as a matter of course, bear fruits. As he sown, so he reaps. Here it must be clarified. It is universally believed that it is I who make almsgiving, and it will be the same I who will reap the benefit of the almsgiving in the next existence. And in such a belief there is an idea of I or ego, which is ditthi, or wrong view. When the view that I, the giver, and the I, the reaper of the benefit of merit, are the same, it amounts to sasata diti, eternalistic wrong view. The readers should be very careful of this point, because though alms giving is kusala karma, there are two things which are mixed in the same karma, i.e., the desire to reap the benefit is tanha, and wrong view that I, who will reap the benefit, is diti, ataditi and sasataditi both combined. Such wrong view has been prevalent and dominant in the immemorial, therefore it will not easily be eradicated. Here is another explanation. No doubt almsgiving, dana, is kusala karma, wholesome action, and the desire to attain the higher position is tanha. Hence this karma is called misaka, mixed karma. The mixture of white karma and black karma, i.e. kusala karma, wholesome activity, is white, and the desire to attain the higher position in the next existence is black karma. Hence it is called mixed karma. The benefit to be derived from such karma is said to be reborn as King of Naga, Royal White Elephant, and so on. Therefore the readers now can come to the decision whether the mixed nature of karma is desirable or not. Let us come again to the walking of the blind. To become blind is the ignorance of satya. Walking with the right and left legs is punabi and apunabi sankara. Stepping with the right one begets the kanda of man or deva, which is nothing but dukkha satya. Stepping with the left leg begets dukkati kanda, which is woeful existence. Hence, when the totally blind Puttu Jana walks regardless of any direction, he gets nowhere, and when anything is done, it is done with ignorance, which leads him to Paticcasamuppada again. Sankara Pachaya Vinyanam means dependent on Sankara, there arises Vijnana. Hence Vijnana connotes Patisandhi, Vijnana, reborn consciousness. When the totally blind man walks, he slips, falls down, and drops into the pit, which is jati pi dukkha. When jati is obtained, he gets all kinds of suffering because of patisandhi. We shall realize it only if we remember how we suffered for 9 months in the mother's womb, among the urinal and facial matter, sitting with bent knees and body pressed from all sides without even an elbow room of an inch to stretch. Sankara Pachaya Vinyanam means the beginning of this present existence is jati. Again, Vijnana Pachaya Namarupam means that because of jati, one begets Namarupa, which implies that the blind man who falls down and stumbles gets injured. It can be metaphorically expressed that when the blind man falls down, it is not an ordinary fall, but he falls headlong, injuring himself. This means he begets nama, injury, rupa, injury, which are nothing but dukkha, suffering and sorrow. Panchu padana kandapi dukkha. All the 5 aggregates or components are dukkha satya. Again, if we proceed further according to Namarupa Pachaya Salayantana, it will be a good analogy to express that when he gets the injury, it becomes septic and spreads all over the body. Hence the eye injury, chaka yantana, ear injury, sutta yantana, nose injury, gana yantana, tongue injury, jiva yatana, body injury, kaya yatana, and mind injury, mana yatana. The Buddha declared that the panchakhandhas are injuries, ailments, aches, wounds, prickling, etc., etc. Because of the eye, it has to do the function of seeing. Because of the ear, it has to do the function of hearing. Because of the nose, it has to do the function of smelling. Because of the tongue, it has to do the function of tasting. Because of the function of the body, it has to do the function of the touching. Because of the mind, it has to do the function of thinking. Wherever or whenever there is the impact of a ramana object and dvara sense door, there may arise a lobha, dosa, domanasa, so manasa, or upeka. When the blind man walks, he makes a false step, stumbles, falls, gets injured, and the whole body becomes septic. Again, salayantana pachaya paso means the blind man is again pricked by the thorns, injured, got septic, so he's getting from bad to worse. The fall is a heavy one, the pain is severe, suffering is severe. Such severity is due to avidya. With the avidya at the head and tanha as a companion, the ordinary worldling perpetrates all sorts of misdeeds under the direction of tanha. Because of samudaya, there arises dukkha. Eva me tassa ke lasa dukkha kandasa samudayo hoti means in the process of samsara there is nothing but the whole mass of conglomeration of sorrow and suffering. Again, when the blind man falls further, he begets Vedana as the result of being pricked. Pasa pachaya Vedana. Vedana arises whenever and wherever there is impingement of three phenomena: object, sense door, and vijnana. Vedana arises as and when a visible object is seen, when a sound is heard, an odour is smelled, food is tasted, the body is touched, and when an idea is thought of. We experience the arising of all kinds of Vedana. We are bound to the afflicted with 96 kinds of diseases. The diagram will show that the whole section 2 is dukkha satcha. It is only when avidya becomes vidya that we shall be able to penetrate and see dukkha satcha in its reality. Hence it is said, Chakum upadi yanam udapadi vidya udapadi. Let us come to the blind again. In order to get relief from his pain and cure his wounds, he will seek medicine. Though he tries his best to get curative medicine, it cannot be supposed that the blind man will come across the right kind of medicine. It means to say that the one shrouded in avidya and ignorant of satcha cannot get the right kind of medicine, truth. All along the samsaric journey, the search for the curative medicine has proved to be fruitless, and failure in this very existence, as in previous existences. We could not have been any other beings than those who had been ceaselessly whirling in the vortex of the whirlpool of samsara. Let us see for ourselves whether or not what had been said is in line with what has happened to us in our wayfaring through samsara. Because of samudaya in the past causal continuum, there is suffering of all kinds in this very existence. This is what actually is the linking of the cause of sorrow and suffering. Let us suppose there is sukha vedana. Say a family is in a good position, with a good income, having a house and a car. If he is attached so much to his present position, there arises tanha in him. Reference to the diagram is invited. Sukha Vedana Paccaya Tanha. Section 2 and 3 are again connected. Let us come to the blind man again. The blind man searching for some curative medicine will no doubt come across some kind of medicine which is not the right one. He may either take it internally or he may apply it externally, whereby instead of getting better, he may become worse. It is said in Paticcasamuppada, Upadana Paccaya Kama Bhavo. It means to say that because of attachment, physical, verbal, and mental activities are again perpetrated. He prays and longs for the rebirth in the next existence to become more prosperous being, or Deva Prince, whenever alms giving is done. Nay, he goes further and prays that his sons, daughters, wife, and himself, the whole family, may be together in every existence in the future. This is an example of a common man's fallacious activities. Whenever there is ignorance of satya, it can be compared to the blind man who stumbles, gets sprains and wounds, becomes septic, and being pricked by thorns, he seeks for curative medicine and only gets the wrong one. All along the samsaric journey, where there is the absence of knowledge of satya, the wayfarer is being tossed over and over again in the whirlpool of samsara, according to the law of dependent origination. It is obvious that he has never had the slightest knowledge of Magga Satya, i.e. Samaditi, Sama Sankappa, Sama Vacca, Sama Kamanta, Sama Vayama, Sama Sati, and Sama Samadhi. It can be said that we are fortunate enough to have been able to hear the Satya sermons and read books reproduced from the recorded tapes of late Maha, Thera, Mogok, Sayadaw. Forsooth, we gain some considerable knowledge of Paticcasamuppada and Satya from such sermons. Readers are urged to foster the intense desire to set themselves free from the endless chain of samsara, from this very existence, as they have been endowed with sada, confidence, and are favourably placed with ample opportunity to hear Satyadharma from recorded sermons or read books reproduced from them. Hearing the sermons from recorded tapes is available in many parts of Myanmar, Mandalaya, Mogok, Amara, Pura, and every nook and corner of Burma. Again, it is exhorted to the readers with the best of intentions to take advantage of the recorded sermons in which Satya and Paticcasamuppada doctrine were expounded by Maha, Thera, Sayadaw during his lifetime.